Shiraz is the sixth most populous city of Iran and the capital of Fars province. Shiraz is one of the oldest cities in ancient Persia, and Shiraz is known as the city of poets, literature and flowers. It's also considered by many Iranians to be the city of gardens, due to the many gardens and fruit trees that can be seen in the city, for example, Aram Garden. In this clip, we will get acquainted with Shiraz city's historical places. Bishapur, ancient city. In fact, the name Bishapur is comprised of two parts, that is, Bey and Shapur, and means Lord Shapur. Indeed, they named the city after its founder, Shapur I. The Sassanid king, Shapur I, defeated the Roman Emperor Valerian and his army in 266 AD. Then he ordered the construction of Bishapur's ancient city. Subsequently, he employed the Roman soldiers to build the city. He built his royal city in a mild climate region at the Shapur riverside. The city remained inhabited and prosperous until the 10th century. However, its significance declined at the time of the Arabs' invasion of Iran in the 7th century. Mainly the construction on the northern part of the city are relics of the Sassanid dynasty. Later, in the Islamic period, more structures were added to the city, thus the city expanded more to the south. The royal city of Bishapur was a turning point in Persian architecture. Anahita Temple. The Sassanians built the Anahita Temple to worship Anahita, the goddess of water. To enter the temple, you ought to climb down the staircases, and you will find yourself in a large courtyard surrounded by huge walls and a fabulous water system. Valerian Palace. You might wonder what the fate of the Roman emperor was after his defeat. Don't worry, Shapur I ordered a palace for him. Valerian Palace, or Valerian Prison, was the place which the Persian king dedicated to the captured Roman Emperor Valerian. Qasr-e-Abu Nasra. Qasr-e-Abu Nasra is the site of an ancient settlement situated in the city of Shiraz in the Fars province of Iran. According to archaeological studies, the fortress was built during the Parthian period and was an important and strategic location in the Sassanid Empire. Archaeologists have found various artifacts and coins belonging to various historical periods, such as the Achaemenid, Seleucid Empire, Parthian, and Sassanid. The Palace of Ardashir Papakan. The Palace of Ardashir Papakan is a Sassanid palace castle located in Firuzabad, Iran. It's located some 5 kilometers south of the Kal-e-Doktar and was constructed in the 3rd century CE by Ardashir Papakan, the founder of the Sassanid dynasty. The palace consists of several parts. In the northeast was a great arch, an aywan, that opened to a garden with a pool at Doline. This facade may have looked like the Parthian palace at Ctesiphon. Behind the northeastern aywan, you will find 2, originally 3, large rooms with domes, followed by a large court in the southwest, which was surrounded by many residential rooms. The entire complex was more than 100 meters long, 104 to be precise, and 55 meters wide. The walls were decorated with stucco, which was inspired by the architecture of Persepolis. The surrounding walls are sometimes more than 4 meters wide, which is understandable because there were corridors and galleries on the first floor which make it possible to walk around the domes. These are the oldest examples of this type of architecture in Iran. It's possible, perhaps even likely, that they were inspired by Western models, and that would not have been without parallel because the representation of Ahura Mazda on the nearby second relief of Firuzabad is also inspired by Western art. However, unlike most Roman domes of this age, the domes at Firuzabad Palace were not made of concrete but of brick. Ardashir Babakan, the founder of the Sassanid Empire, ordered the construction of this monument in the 3rd century. It is known with different names, such as the Palace of Ardashir, Firuzabad Fire Temple, the Great Fire Temple, and Barin. Although the structure is 1,800 years old, the decorative plasterwork on the inside of its walls is intact. The Sarvastan Palace. The Sassanid Palace at Sarvastan is one of the most important relics of the Sassanid period and one of Iran's oldest brick domes. It's located 90 kilometers southeast of the city of Shiraz. Located 9 kilometers southwest of Sarvastan, it's a large monument made of stone and gypsum. This monument dates back to the Sasanian period and to the time of Bahram Gur, 420 to 438 AD. Mir Naza, his well-known minister, ordered the construction of this palace. Since 1956, major renovations took place. This royal residence was implicitly completed in the 5th century AD and was either a gubernatorial living arrangement or a Zoroastrian fire sanctuary. The whole complex is 25 hectares. This palace was built at the time of the Sasanian king Bahram Gur and by Mir Naza, who was his famous minister and also the minister of Yazdegerd I and Yazdegerd II. The approximate dimensions of the palace are 43 by 37 meters, and its main facade faces southwest. It has 3 terraces. Behind the central terrace there's a square hall with a domed brick ceiling, and it has access to new routes from 4 directions. It's registered as one of the sites of the Sassanid Access in Fars in the World Heritage List by UNESCO. The domes of the palaces that are still remaining have benefited from squinches that have been built to strengthen them. The stone pillars also have protection from the ceiling until today. All of these indicate the importance of the palace to Sassanid and also the art and advanced science they incorporated into their architecture. Shapur Cave. In the Chaugan Valley, there's a rather large cave in which a huge statue of Shapur I, the second ruler of the Sassanid Empire, has been carved. The length of the cave entrance is about 16 meters, with a height of less than 8 meters. The height of the statue is 7 meters high, its shoulders are 2 meters wide, and the hands are 3 meters long. It's said that in addition to this giant statue of Shapur I, the tomb of this great man is also situated in the cave. As the representation of the king on the reliefs in the Chowgan Valley, Chowgan Canyon, the king is shown with long hair, a crown, and all his weapons. Behind the statue, in the depth of the cave, are 3 ancient water basins. About 1,400 years ago, after the Arab invasion of Iran and the collapse of the Sasanian Empire, the statue was pulled down and a part of one of its legs was broken. About 70 years ago, again, parts of his arms were also broken in an earthquake. The statue has been lying on the ground for about 14 centuries, until 1957, the last Shah of Iran had a group of Iranian military raise it again on its feet and repair the broken foot with iron and cement. The project of raising the statue, building the roads from Bishapur to the area and paths in the mountain, stairs and iron fences on the route to the cave took 6 months in 1957. There is a 2-stone inscription at the entrance of the cave. One of them is the translation of Shapur's inscription in the role of Rajab, and the other is how the statue was restored after 1,000 years in 1957 by the army. Thank you for joining us in this program. We will be with you in our next program, introducing to you other places in Iran.